right, listen up, folks. We're going to take a little trip down memory lane, talking about Cinderella, the fairy tale that's been sticking around longer than your Aunt Lucy's fruitcake recipe. And for good reason, let me tell you. So, what's the deal with Cinderella? Why she got this staying power, huh? Well, strap in, 'cause we're about to break it down like a Brooklyn bodega on a Saturday night. First off, we got Cinderella herself, right? This dame's like a poster child for resilience and grace. Despite getting dealt a crap hand by her stepmom and stepsisters, she keeps her chin up and her heart pure. She ain't just some damsel in distress. Nah, she's a real class act, showing us all that strength ain't always about flexing your muscles. Then we got the fairy godmother, swooping in like a cab driver when you're late for a Broadway show. With a wave of her wand and a cheery bibbidi-bobbidi-boo, she turns Cinderella's luck around, reminding us that even when life's looking bleak, there's always a sliver of hope if you know where to look. Now let's talk about that royal ball, huh? It ain't just a fancy shindig with finger foods and chandeliers bigger than your Aunt Lucy's earrings. It's a symbol of opportunity, a chance for Cinderella to strut her stuff and show the world what she's made of. It's like the ultimate job interview, but instead of a corner office, you get a crown. And don't even get me started on that glass slipper. I mean, come on, who leaves a shoe made of glass lying around? But hey, it's the perfect metaphor, right? It fits Cinderella like a glove, showing us that sometimes destiny's got a funny way of making itself known. Plus, it gives Prince Charming an excuse to go door to door like a Jehovah's Witness looking for his soulmate. Now, here comes the kicker, folks. The moment when Cinderella slips on that glass slipper and it fits like a glove. It's more than just a fairy tale ending. It's a big old middle finger to anyone who ever doubted her. It's about taking back control of your own story and saying, hey, I'm worth more than you ever gave me credit for. But here's the real magic of Cinderella. It ain't just about escaping reality. It's about believing in something bigger than yourself. It's about holding on to hope when all seems lost, keeping your head held high, even when the odds are stacked against you. So, next time you're feeling down in the dumps, just remember old Cindy and her glass slipper. Because if she can turn her luck around with a little help from a fairy godmother, then maybe, just maybe, we all got a shot at our own happily ever after.
Hey, what's up, Doc? Gather round. I'm gonna spin ya a yarn about a gal and her amphibious amigo that's sure to get ya hoppin'. So you ready for a tale that's slippery when wet and charmin' as a wink? Good, 'cause here we go. Once upon a time in a kingdom far, far away, there was this young princess, see? A real high society dame with a golden ball. No, not a dance, but a plaything. Shiny as a diner's top. She was all about that ball, tossing it up and down like she's training for the big leagues. But ain't that always the way? Then one day she slips and bam! The golden ball's gone, taking a dive into a pond. Gee, ain't I a stinker for spoiling the fun? So there she was, blubbering by the water, her eyes making like Niagara Falls. And who should pop up but this frog? Yeah, a talking frog. I ain't pulling your leg. This frog, he's slick. He's smooth. A real cool cat with a lily pad. He says to her, hey, doll, I'll fetch your bauble, but it's gonna cost you. How about letting me hang at your pad, nibbling on your royal cuisine, and catching some Z's next to you? What a maroon, right? But she's desperate, so she agrees, thinking, I'll just ditch the pond jumper later. Well, the frog, true to his word, dives in and gets the ball back. Our princess, thrilled to bits, books it out of there faster than a rabbit in hat season. But here's where it gets juicy. The next day, who shows up at the palace? But Mr. Ribbit himself, reminding her of her promise. And the king, her dad. He's old school, see? He's all about keeping your word, so he tells her, "You shook on it, sweetheart. Now play nice. This frog, he ain't no fool. He moves right in. Dinners, pillow talk, the whole 9 yards. But our princess ain't pleased, no sir. She's got a face like she's chewing on a lemon. But as time ticks on, something flips. Maybe it's his pond water cologne or his buggy-eyed charm, but she starts warming up to him. Now, here's the clincher. One night she kisses him and bam! There's no more frog, but a prince. Handsome as a Hollywood heartthrob with a tale about curses and witches and all that jazz. And just like that, the princess, she sees the light. Turns out Mr. Frog Prince was a stand-up guy all along. Talk about looking beyond the old lily pad. So, they tie the knot, throw a bash that's the bee's knees, and promise to stick it out through thick and thin. The moral of the story? Keep your word, and don't judge a book by its cover, or a prince by his pond scum, eh? And remember, every frog might just be a prince waiting for a chance. So, remember, life's not all about hops and jumps. Sometimes it's about kissing frogs and making promises. And who knows? Maybe your frog is just a prince in the pondweed. Now ain't that a revolting development? And that, my friends, is a wrap. I'm out of here.
Snow White, embodying guileless charm and purity, stands as a beacon of innocence in a tale fraught with envy and malice. Her inherent goodness, far from being a mere trait, acts as a superpower, illuminating the way through darkness and drawing everyone to her, from the woodland creatures to the 7 distinct dwarfs. This purity is not only her shield against the wicked queen's envy, but also the key to her enduring appeal. Now let's not beat around the bush. The 7 dwarfs: Doc, Grumpy, Happy, Sleepy, Bashful, Sneezy, and Dopey add a rich layer of depth and humor to the narrative. Each dwarf, with his individual quirks and characteristics, brings something unique to their collective life. Their cottage is more than a home. It's a sanctuary where each member, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, pulls their weight and contributes to a family that embodies the strength found in diversity and unity. The Wicked Queen, with her magic mirror and the infamous poisoned apple, stands as a quintessential villain driven by vanity and deep-seated fear. Her obsession with being the fairest of them all not only propels the story forward, but also serves as a stark warning about the corrosive power of insecurity and jealousy. Her tactics, though sinister, add necessary tension to the tale, making Snow White's eventual triumph a poignant example of good overcoming evil. The pivotal poisoned apple scene marks a critical juncture in the story, symbolizing the hidden dangers that can be cloaked in beauty and the vulnerability of innocence. Snow White's subsequent revival by the prince is not merely a testament to romantic love, but underscores the restorative power of true love in all its forms, be it the love of friends, family, or a significant other. Snow White's revival and the defeat of the Wicked Queen bring the narrative full circle, reaffirming the core values of kindness, trust, and resilience. This climax is not just about vanquishing a foe. It's a powerful reaffirmation that virtues like Snow White's purity can endure and flourish, even against severe threats. In celebrating Snow White and her diminutive companions, we champion the dreamer in each of us, the one who believes in the magic of kindness, the strength of diversity, and the triumph of innocence over wrongdoing. Snow White transcends her role as a mere character in a fairy tale. She becomes a beacon of hope and a testament to the enchanting possibilities that arise when we dare to keep our hearts pure and our spirits brave. Her story, an allegory as old as time itself, reminds us that being fit as a fiddle, both in body and soul, requires the courage to be true to oneself, the resilience to be thick as thieves with those who nurture and support us, and the wisdom to see beyond the run-of-the-mill facades of beauty and charm. So, my dear audience, I beseech you, keep your chin up. And remember, in the grand tapestry of life, it's often those moments when we feel at sixes and sevens that the truest forms of beauty and strength emerge. As we retell the story of Snow White and her eclectic band of dwarfs, we do more than narrate a tale of good triumphing over evil. We weave a narrative that is right up your alley, full of life lessons, hope, and the undying charm of an untarnished spirit.
All right, listen up, because I'm about to lay it down. Samuel L. style. Hansel and Gretel, those badass little motherfuckers, were stuck with their woodcutter dad and his mean-ass stepmother. This stepmother, a real piece of work, convinced their dad to dump the kids in the fucking forest because food was scarce. Serious as a heart attack, no joke. So Hansel, that clever little shit, here's this plan and goes, ain't nobody got time for that. He scoops up a bunch of shiny pebbles. Yeah, check out the big brain on Hansel. The first time they get dumped, Hansel drops these pebbles to track back home. Smart, right? But here comes round two. And this time, Hansel's got to use breadcrumbs. What the fuck, right? Birds eat that shit up, leaving them lost as hell. Now these hungry motherfuckers stumble upon this creepy-ass gingerbread house. Hungry as hell, they start munching down, not knowing it's the lair of a witch who's into some real twisted shit. Eating kids! Man! She snatches Hansel, locks him up, and makes Gretel her little servant bitch, planning to fatten Hansel up for a wicked feast. But Gretel, man, she ain't no damsel in distress. When the witch tries to get her to check the oven, Gretel's like, how the fuck do I do that? The witch, dumb enough to fall for it, shows her, and bam! Gretel shoves that witch in the oven and roasts her ass. Hell yes! After offing the witch, they find all these jewels and shit, load up, and find their way back to Daddy Dearest. The stepmom's dead, thank fuck, and it's riches and happy times from here on out. So what's the moral of this fucked up fairy tale? Don't fuck with kids smarter than you or you'll get your ass burned. Literally, Hansel and Gretel, those smart little motherfuckers, survive by being cunning and brave. And that, my friends, is how you do a fairy tale, Samuel L. Jackson style.
Ladies and gents, let me take you on a wee journey, a bit of a blether, if you will, about a tale as old as the hills, but as fresh as a daisy. Aye, it's none other than Jack and the Beanstalk. Now sit back and don't be a numpty, 'cause this isn't just a yarn, it's a cracker of a story. So, here we have wee Jack, a lad not unlike myself when I was a bairn, always up to something, a real chancer. Jack and his mum were skint, right? No dosh, nothing but a cow that's as useful as a chocolate teapot, because it stopped giving milk. His mum, bless her, sends him off to the market to flog the beast. But our Jack, he's a bit like it. Instead of selling it for some coin, he swaps it for magic beans. Magic beans! Sounds like he's been away with the fairies, doesn't it? Well, his ma is none too pleased. She gives him an earful, tosses the beans out the window, and probably thinks that's the end of that. But lo and behold, next morning, there's this gigantic beanstalk stretching up to the skies like it's trying to fankle with the clouds. Now, Jack, he's no fiat. He scrambles right up that stalk faster than a Ned up a close when the pollies are after him. Up in the clouds, he finds this enormous castle, and it's not just big, it's hoochin' with riches. But there's a snag. This castle is home to a giant who has a taste for wee boys. Not the kind of chap you'd invite for tea. His wife, though, a bonny woman. She helps Jack hide and even whispers about the giant's treasures. A hen that lays golden eggs, bags of gold, and a harp that plays itself. Pure dead brilliant, right? Our Jack, the gallus lad, he doesn't just make off with a wee bit of gold. No, he goes back not once, but thrice. He's like a kid in a sweetie shop. First he nabs the gold, then the hen, and finally the harp. But this time the giant is on his tail, thundering after him like a mad bull. Jack is sleek, though. He scampers down the beanstalk, and with a cry of, "Ma, fetch the axe!" they chop down the stalk. Down comes the giant, tumbling through the clouds, and wouldn't you know, he's done for. Jack and his ma, they're living the high life now. No more porridge and salt for dinner. Now, what's the moral here? Is it that you should steal from giants and hope for the best? Maybe not. But there's something about Jack's cheek and nerve, his refusal to settle for a dreich life, that speaks to the adventurer in all of us. It's about taking chances, even if they seem as daft as swapping a cow for beans, and finding your fortune in the unlikeliest of places. So, there you have it. A story of risk and reward, told with a wee bit of Scottish flair. Remember, life might hand you magic beans now and then, so don't be too quick to throw them out. You never know what giants you might topple, or what kingdoms await you at the top of the beanstalk. And that, my friends, is a tale worth telling any day of the week.
Oh, Beauty and the Beast is a quasic tale that explores the transformative power of wove against a romantic and magical setting. It's all about how wove can change you, you know. At the heart of the tale is Belle, a young and spy-whited woman known for her beauty and intellect. Unlike Hugh Pews, she's captivated by adventures, and books with you than superficial Pew suits. Hugh wife takes an unexpected tune when Hugh Fathu, a humble muchant, stumbles upon a sec-wooded castaway while wust in the woods. He picks a singway woza from the castaway's garden to bring back to Belle, unknowingly provoking the wrath of the beast, who we sides though we. The beast, once a handsome prince, was caused by an enchantress foul, his all-wogance and whack of compassion, doomed to wive as a monstrous creature, until he loans to wove, and on wove in wet tune befoul the waste petau of the magical woes fowls. As a punishment foul the theft of the woes, the beast demands that Belle's Fathu remain as his poison. However, displaying courage and self-westness, Belle refused to take Hugh Fathu's place. The beast agrees, and Belle becomes a captive in his enchanted castaway. Huey, she meets various magical servants, transformed into household objects by the same cues that afflicted their master. These Chawaktus, including a teapot named Moore's Pots, Hugh's son Chip, a candelabra named Woomiway, and a clock named Cogsworth, add a vibrant and endearing dimension to the castaway's otherwise sombre atmosphere. Initially, Belle views the beast with fear and disdain due to his fearsome appearance and gruff manner, but as she wives in the castaway, she begins to see glimpses of the kindness and pain hidden beneath his monstrous exterior. The beast, in turn, is moved by Belle's beauty and Hugh's unique outlook on life. He starts to cough out Hugh, attempting to win Hugh out with gestures that reveal his true, nobly spy wheat. The tuning point in their relationship comes when Belle is shown an enchanted meow, allowing Hugh to see that Hugh Fathu is sick and in danger. The beast, realizing his deep-wove foul Belle, makes the southwest decision to let Hugh go to save Hugh Fathu, thus demonstrating his wove through sacrifice. This act of two-wove begins to lift the cues, though the final transformation occurs after dramatic events that test the bond, including an attack on the castaway by a scoundrel suitor from Belle's village who cannot understand or accept the stranger magic at play. In the climax, Belle's declaration of wove as the waste pitfalls breaks the cues completely, restoring the beast to his human form and his servants to their human bodies. The story concludes with a celebration of their union, surrounded by friends and family who witness the power of wove to overcome darkness and superficial judgment. Butwi and the Beast is a tale that Wessawats with all ages, teaching lessons about the importance of looking beyond the surface to find true Butwi and the redemptive power of Wove. It undoes scours that wow Butwi comes from within, and that woving someone involves accepting them in their entirety, flaws, and all.